Welcome back, movie lovers! I'm Josh.
And I'm Chris.
And with our powers combined, we are Garner Brothers Movie Lovers. Today, we're talking Jurassic World, the last one. What's it called?
Dominion, I think.
Jurassic World Dominion. That's right. And in this one, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are mom and dad to the clone baby. And the clone baby is like, "You're not my dad and my mom." She keeps running away. And then the bad guys are like, "We'll get her when she runs away." So she runs away and they get her. And they take her to the mysterious, secluded space full of dinosaurs. Meanwhile, Samuel and Laura Dern are reconnecting in Utah and also going to the secluded area full of dinosaurs. And they all meet up together and do an end game.
With Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
So we've already said all the names of the big actors that are in this one again. They're all back. This movie was directed again by Colin Trevorrow, who directed the first Jurassic World film, but not the second. He also had a hand in the script and the story. Music is by Michael Giacchino, who scored the first two Jurassic World films also. And the score is fine.
Every single actor in this movie is phoning it in. They don't care about this movie. Almost as much as I don't care about this movie.
Well, in their defense, I think it's really hard to act well when all of your dialogue is awful.
The dialogue is terrible.
It's like fortune cookie bad many times.
Bought a notebook to take to movies with me. I've never taken it once. But while I was there, I just kept thinking, that line was so bad. I wish I had my notebook so I could write it down and we could laugh about how bad it was. But I'll remember it. It won't be like there won't be a line that bad again. Every scene had bad dialogue, and every once in a while you'd get this gold nugget of the dumbest thing you'd ever heard. The first time you see Sam Neill, he's digging for dinosaurs in Utah, and he's giving a speech to these paleontologists who are all like sitting on rocks looking at him, and he's like, "Why do we dig?" He's like, "Because digging is the truth, and bones are dinosaurs," or something. And
The
like,
truth is in these rocks. Something like that.
yeah. And then, oh man, just all these dumb lines. And there's another one where somebody's recording themselves, and they're like, "A butterfly flew into my office today, and suddenly I had faith that little things can make a big difference." And you're like, what was that?
Or the you can't give in to regret or you'll live in the past. You gotta move into the future. I mean, like, this is the quality of lines in this movie, like the caliber of dialogue that you can expect.
When they're all running from a dinosaur for their lives, and then Bryce says, "Run!" And I think all the actors knew that it was really bad, and they were just getting a paycheck, which, why wouldn't you? Somebody would have paid me a couple million to go make this dumb movie. I'd have done it too.
It's just so sad in the case of Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler, because I feel like they deserved a better movie. You know,
They are actually my least favorite characters in this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, their dialogue is the worst, and their chemistry is non-existent, and the reason for either of them to be in this film is really non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people who have the proof that they need to bring down the big evil corporation are already there, and they already have the proof. So the whole reason for Ellie to be in the movie isn't there, and her only reason for bringing Alan into the movie is, I need a witness, because apparently Alan Grant is the only man with eyes. So she brings him in, and they go and do their thing, but they're not needed. Also, the action scenes are frequently poorly directed.
Yeah. So, the original Jurassic Park movie is basically a horror movie. The dinosaurs are very scary. Very scary in the original Jurassic Park movie.
There's so much tension in those scenes. The T-Rex scene with the Jeeps, the raptors in the kitchen. That movie is a textbook on how to do tension. And this movie has no tension.
Nothing. The first action sequence with dinosaurs you get, there's not a second during the sequence where you are scared of dinosaurs or scared that the main characters will die from dinosaurs. It felt like a Bourne movie. It was really weird. Where were they?
I don't know. It was someplace a lot like Tangiers from the third Bourne movie. Because they're jumping from balcony to balcony.
There's literally a balcony jump scene where they jump from the balcony and the camera kind of goes with them into a window. And I was like, I hear Jason Bourne did the camera work for that scene. And there's a car chase where he's on a motorcycle, which everything, it felt really out of place, that whole first sequence. There's also this weird dystopian Mad Max underground dinosaur black market. And what? What did I just say? That was in the movie. One of the dinosaurs just looks like an alien goblin thing from Star Wars. And there was a moment where I thought, are we watching a Jurassic Park movie right now?
There's more tension in either of the previous Jurassic World movies.
Yeah.
Or in the first two Jurassic Park movies. There's just no tension in this movie. All of those previous movies seem to know how to set up a dinosaur threat, right? The big, scary dinosaur from the original Jurassic World, they build it up. They tell you everything it can do and why it's so scary, and that's effective. In the second one, they build up this super creepy dinosaur that ends up stalking the halls of the giant mansion at the end.
I loved that.
That was really
ending
effective.
In the mansion.
The T-Rex scenes in both of the first two Jurassic Park movies, the one at the Jeeps in the first one, but the one at the trailer in the second one, very effective scenes. But none of the dinosaur scenes in this one have that kind of tension. A little bit here and there, but on the whole, there's no moment where, in the original Jurassic Park, the raptors were so terrifying. And when they're in the kitchen, all you're thinking is, how are they going to survive this? But in this movie, you just know they're all going to survive the raptors from the get-go. There's no question about it. There's never any moment when you think that those computer-animated dinosaurs are going to get Chris Pratt. How could they?
Yeah, there's a part when the Gigawattosaurus, which is basically the name of the scary dinosaur in this
big
movie,
new T-Rex,
is chasing all the main characters around, and all of them are kind of acting like the Three Stooges. And Bryce gets her leg tied up.
Something wraps around her leg inexplicably.
And as the dinosaur pulls out, she's getting pulled out too. And in the moment when that happened, and I thought, well, how's she gonna get out of this? And that's how every sequence felt. It was so dumb every time.
And part of the problem is, this whole franchise is based on a book by Michael Crichton. If you've ever read anything by Michael Crichton, you know that more than half the characters are going to die from whatever threat he sets up. That's what happens in the original Jurassic Park. And the reason that you think the raptors are so scary is because the guy who knows everything about raptors gets killed by them in that movie. Because Samuel L. Jackson gets his arm chopped off by those things. Because the guy at the very beginning of the movie gets dragged up the side of the crate by those things. You see what they can do. You see them killing major characters, and you're like, okay, this movie kills major characters. These guys are scary.
I did like the weird lizard things underground. Those got me good. Those were pretty scary. But those lasted about 2 seconds. The raptors in the Jason Bourne moment are horrible. They are the stupidest dinosaurs ever created.
They're the clumsiest raptors
They
yet.
are just tripping on everything constantly.
There's no setup. There's no payoff. There are no stakes. There's no tension. There's not a coherent character arc for anyone. Nothing gets solved that matters.
The original characters from Jurassic Park show up and I couldn't help but realize that everything they were doing with them was just a bad version of the original Jurassic Park movie. Somebody meets them and says, we're going to fly on this helicopter to the dinosaur place. And they're looking out the windows, and the person who's flying them is like, we have dinosaurs. And they're like, you have dinosaurs? And they're like, look out the window. Those ones can fly. And they're like, oh my gosh, those ones can fly. Jeez, dinosaurs, can you believe this? And then and then they land there and they're like doing this secret locust mission or something. And while they're doing the secret locust mission, they find the little kid. And then now they're doing the same thing where Sam Neill's just like, oh man, I hate kids and I love dinosaurs, but I hate dinosaurs. And now there's this kid here and I have to help this kid not die from dinosaurs. Ugh. And then they even have a moment where Sam Neill's like, dinosaurs will kill you sometimes. And they're real scary, and they'll kill you right on the throat.
And there's a moment where Ian Malcolm is waving a bright light in the air, and there's a
moment where his shirt's unbuttoned too low, and he's like, oh.
I actually like that.
So did I. It was
like
amazing.
That moment.
Almost everything with Jeff Goldblum is on point.
That is true. See, that was what I was going to say. I like Jeff Goldblum. I liked his lines. Like, there were so many bad lines in the movie. Why do I think that all the lines that he said that made me laugh, he just made up on the spot? They actually weren't in the script.
He can make dumb things
funny.
Work, too,
Yeah.
I feel like. He's just a...
Yeah.
He worked really well.
But there's the scene where they're all trying to hide around an upside-down Jeep while a giant T-Rex-like thing is chasing them around it, and... There's a scene where they have to go reboot some kind of power system for reasons. I never understood what they were doing down there, but...
I don't know. And she's also, like, tasing a bunch of locusts, and it's so obviously just her...
waving
like,
her arms in the air.
Smacking some tennis balls or something. And it's so obvious in every moment with dinosaurs that there's no dinosaurs there.
They've never been able to give dinosaurs the same kind of weight and presence that they had in the original. It's funny how far advanced CG has come since 1993 from the original Jurassic Park, and the dinosaurs still don't look as good as they did in that one.
Every single time a director decides that they're going to do as much practical effects as they can and then top it off with CGI, every time that works
best.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Every time. And every time they go full CGI, it looks ridiculous. And they're still doing it. There's so many moments in this movie where they think they're giving you a moment of pure bliss. They're like, this is going to blow their little minds. They'll never see this coming. And every time it just falls right on its face into a giant steaming pile of dinosaur poop. There's a scene where Jeff Goldblum kind of points at the bad guy and the camera zooms in on him. It says, Dotson. And it still took a few seconds before we were like, did he just say Dotson? Are we doing Dotson?
We've got Dotson here?
Nobody cares.
You shouldn't use my name.
You know what they say?
Dodson! Dodson! We've got Dodson here! See, nobody cares.
Anyway.
And what do they think they get out of making that guy Dotson or zooming in on that Barbasol can? Like, there's no payoff to that. Making that guy, this one-off character from the original Jurassic Park does nothing. This is the first big movie to come out after Top Gun Maverick is really bad for this movie. Because Top Gun Maverick is a great example of how to do a big summer blockbuster that's just a ton of fun with a great story, really well executed. And then you get this movie right after it. It's just going to look even worse maybe than it actually is. If you just saw Top Gun Maverick and then you go to this one and you think, maybe there is a future for movies. And then you see this movie and you're reminded about everything wrong with Hollywood and big blockbusters and soulless sequels and mashing all these characters, the crossover characters, and This is the crossover we deserve, but not the one we needed.
Good, fine, bad.
Yeah, that was a load of poop.
Good, fine, bad.
Bad.
This movie is bad as it gets.
Dumpster fire.
Dirty dumpster fire full of dinosaur poop is what this movie was. In good, fine, bad. Good means go see this movie in theaters. Fine means you can wait till you can stream this movie. Bad means,
Don't waste
please, I'm begging you, don't give your money to the studio that made this movie. Go see Top Gun again. That's when we say bad, we mean go see Top Gun again.
I just saw Top Gun again for the second time yesterday, and that was time well spent. I would rather have seen it a third time.
Okay,
Well,
there's nothing to spoil here.
I actually have something to say.
You have a spoiler?
Well, it may be a spoil, it may not be, but I just want to point out,
Okay, spoiler warning, maybe.
maybe. At the beginning of this movie, think about the problems that the movie sets up at the beginning.
You're
Beginning.
talking about
The setup.
coexists.
Yeah, I mean, several things. So that's one. One of the problems at the beginning of this movie is dinosaurs are loose in the world, and how are we going to coexist with them? Nothing that they do in this movie fixes that problem. Only at the end, they're like, let's coexist. But nothing they do in the movie
Yeah.
makes people change their mind
There's
to that.
literally a dinosaur. The first dinosaur you see is this horrible monster in the ocean that comes up and just sinks a ship full of sailors and kills everyone. They don't do anything to resolve how we're supposed to coexist with that dinosaur,
No.
but they show that same dinosaur at the end,
Swimming
lovingly
with
swimming
blue
around
whales.
blue whales.
Because if you bring down evil corporations, giant dinosaurs will just naturally be nice. That's how that works. But see, the other problem is Clone Girl at the beginning of the movie is trapped. Because if the world finds out who she is or where she is, they're going to take her away from her parents, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. That's no different at the end of the movie either. I mean, the movie happens, but she's still in the same position that she was before. The movie doesn't solve that either. But it's one of those movies that sets up problems and then resolves something and then just expects you to think that all of these problems that we've set up are now not problems anymore when nothing has changed for those problems. So, yeah, I don't know if that's spoilery or not, but it's like there's probably others that we can think of that would fit into this, like Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, you know, what's she doing now with her life? She's stealing dinosaurs from illegal operations or whatever, like, and her work seems to be insignificant now or whatever. Does this movie do anything for her?
No, she's just there like everyone else to be
Yeah.
to do an end game.
Yeah. Man, it's just lazy filmmaking. That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done talking about this dumb movie.
Yeah, me too. So, like this video. Give us a like and share with all your friends. And please don't see this movie. And, I don't want to say it. It's dumb. Doesn't work. How about, in case we don't see a hold on to your butts.
Don't live in the past with regret. Move forward.
Just remember that dinosaur bones are Jesus. Goodbye, everyone.
See you at the movies.
Maybe in the comments section, give us a good sign off.
Tell us what to do.
Gosh,
at
we
the
don't
end
have
of
a
the
good
video.
sign off. So,
See you in the next one, everybody.
goodbye. And just remember, the treasure is the friends that we made along the way. today, let me pick my ear really hard right now.